Hello everyone and welcome back to AK Academy and PlannerApp version 2. Until now, we have finished the operation to delete, update and create a new plan. And the next step is actually to open the plan and see its details and the items. And then after that, we add the ability to add and check items or remove them. So let's go ahead and get started by that. Right now, at this time, actually, .NET 6 has been released already, like around 1 month ago. So we will do the get plan by details and show that dialog and all that stuff. And then the next session, we are going to see how we can migrate this app to .NET 6. And then we can continue from that. So we can leverage some amazing cool features from Visual Studio 2022 and Blazor WebAssembly with .NET 6, from the performance, from like all other things. We're going to talk about that in the next session. So to get started with what we want to do right now, as you can see, this is the Swagger endpoint, and make sure you are in the version 2 documentation. So here we have get plan by ID. It's already implemented, but if you noted that what it retrieves, it retrieves ID, title, description, cover URL, we don't care about this cover file, cover URL, to-do items, and the list of array of to-do items, which is actually ID, description, estimation, achieved date is done, and plan ID. For now, we are not going to take care of estimation date and achieved date. You can add them because they are just like a little 2 extra fields that's currently we don't need because the main purpose is the learning, and ID, description, and plan ID is more than enough is done. So if I go over here, I can see that if I go to the client.services project, I go to interfaces, iPlan service, and I can see that I have already implemented get plan by ID, and it's already there, and it retrieves plan detail. As you know, we have 2 types of DTOs. We have plan summary and we have plan detail. What is the difference? The summary is when we retrieve a list of plans. So in this case, we make a compact version of that plan. We just retrieve little things. So in case there is a big number of plans, the response is still light, and like we can achieve that faster. While for plan detail, when we retrieve one, as you can see, it is a plan summary, which is the ID, title, description, and cover URL. In addition for that, here we will have the array of to-do items. So let's go ahead and create the to-do item DTO. And how we can do that, let me show you a very cool tab of how to do this. Let's copy this and go to edit, paste special, and click paste JSON as a classes. And here we go, look at that. It automatically detects the class out of that JSON object. So let's call it to-do item detail, just like that. And over here, let's add the ID and make this one capital letter. You can make things capital letter by using Control-Shift-U. So it turned into Control-Shift-U and Control-Shift-U. So here we go. That was pretty simple, right? I'm gonna comment this just for now, and what we are going to do is let's move this to another file, move type to do item detail.file.cs, and let's add that over here actually. So let's add a list. Okay, to do item detail, and what it's called to do items. So let's take it. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So now we have this has been implemented, or it's already there. So when you retrieve by ID, the to-do items list is gonna be over here. So that's good. And regarding the implementation, it's already there. We have implemented that before because I think we have used it for the edit, right? So as you can see, it's already here, and everything is just cool and amazing. So now after we have that, we have the function, we have everything. What we should do is, I'm not going to show the plan in a separate page. I'm going actually to show it within a dialog. So maybe one of the viewers, many thanks for him that he suggested that, so we can have like a different user experience and see how we can implement that within Blazor. So let's go to Blazor over here and go to the components. Let's go for a dialog. So we have this dialog section over here, and it's just amazing, super easy to use and flexible. So we are just going to follow one of those examples. If we can click, okay, we don't need this, not this as well. Oh, okay, yeah, this is what we need. We need someone that here we can show the plan's detail. We're going to separate it into two sections. The left side is going to be the details of the plan, and on the right side we are going to be the to-do list items. So I think this is very good. Let's open up the code, and yeah, let's go ahead and try do that. So this dialog will be self-contained by itself. So whenever you just pass a plan ID for it and open it, so it will load that plan and show it for you on the UI. So that would be good. Then we can show the plan from multiple places, like from the dashboard, from the plans list. Whenever we want to a plan detail, we just shows up this plan. So let's create over here a plan card, I would call it, or sorry, not card, I would call it plan details dialog. .razor. So basically I'm using the add new file extension. You can find it by clicking Shift F2. You can then insert any new file, or you can just follow the traditional way. I just like that because it's pretty fast. And we can call it, okay, dialog, sorry, plan details dialog, like that. So that's good. First of all, let's remove the namespace that we have for plans. So by setting namespace PlannerApp dot components, right? So now we have this namespace, and here let's create that component. So here, creating a component in Blazor requires two sections. From where you are going to call this component, and this dialog, and the other type, the code that actually, or the Razor component that represents the dialog itself. So we are going to use that one. Let's take this, let's take this section from here until we need this cascading parameter as well. And let's just paste that over here. So that's pretty simple, right? And this shows an icon. Okay, I don't think we need this icon. We just need the title. Plan details. Okay, that's good. Now, instead of those text fields, we should divide this page into two sections, as I've said, and then show the stuff that we want to show actually. So we'll call this one close instead of cancel, because here you're just viewing or taking some little actions. So close, and this one will, it will be nothing, I think. We just need a close button. We'll add stuff like this. So let's move this code to the code behind file by clicking over here, export to code behind. Okay, that's good. So now we have this mad dialog over here, and we have this cancel function. That's actually all what it do is call the mad dialog.cancel. So void cancel mad dialog.cancel. So I will call the class close instead of cancel. Okay, here we go. So that looks very good actually. Now let's divide this page into two sections. The plan details, number one, and number two is the to-do items. So we're going to use mud-grid, just like that, and use mud-item. On small screens, we are going to use 12 columns, but on medium screen and large screen, we are just going to take 6 columns. So it will be them like on small screen, it will take all the space, but on the medium screen and above, it will take just 6 columns, which is half of the space. So it will be 50-50. And let's copy that. So items go here, and plan details go here. Okay, that's good. So now what we are going to do is we need a parameter which is public string plan ID, right? We need the plan so we can retrieve its details and all the data. Why not we fetch the plan and we just pass it directly to this dialog? Okay, the reason why is because we need, as we have said, whenever we want, we can show this dialog from multiple places in the UI, maybe from the dashboard, maybe from the let's say the items list from the items table list or so on. So we don't need every time to fetch the plan and then pass it to here. What we can do is we just pass the ID for this and make the dialog itself responsible for fetching for the plan, and then it's very easy to be reusable across all the application. Whenever you want to show it, just open the dialog and pass the plan ID for it, and that's it. Okay, so one other thing we need is to inject the iPlan service, right? iPlans, HTTP iPlan service, I think it's called. Yeah, that's right, plan service. Okay, things like that. Okay, why it hasn't been added? Okay, that's cool. We have the plan ID, we have the plan service, and over here we have the private plan detail plan, and we have private pool is busy. And let's create a function to fetch that plan. Private async task, fetch plan async. So with this one, as always, we need a place to catch those exceptions, and log this error. There's going to be a specific video where we are going to catch all those errors actually across the system in a very meaningful way. So this is why I just leave this comment over here, like, let's make it like this. Log this error. And as you know, we also have API exception, right? Which is the one that's being raised from the API, which means like that the status code is 400, that something went wrong, but it's not an internal server error. So in this case, we raise it over here so we can tell the user about what went wrong. So log this error, or we are not going to log it, we'll show it somewhere in the UI. Error message equals string.empty, just things like this. That's cool. And now let's call the UI result await plans service dot get plan by ID and add the plan ID. So we have to make sure always that the plan ID is not null. It's required for this. So on the onset parameter, we will override it right now and check that if this is null, then throw an exception, because it shouldn't be null. And if it's okay, let's first of all make is busy equals true and is busy equals false. That's cool. And the other things to do right now is plan equals result dot value, because as you know, the result is API error response. And oh, sorry, I get plans, I think, really. It should be get by ID, I think. Okay, here we go. So the value is plan detail. So I have it right now. I have this busy. Now all what I can do is just bind the elements. So let's keep this for another session. Now let's show like mod text typo equals typo.h5 plan.title. Make sure to add this exclamation mark, because at the beginning it will be null, right? Until it's fetched. So you have to take care of that. Then let's make this one its body. It is the description. And over here, you will just have image style. I'm going to add this specific style for that. Width is going to be 100%, but the margin will be like, it will be 10 pixel. You will add some border radius. Oh. Five pixel, okay, anyway, we can make that works better. Now the source of the image is the plan dot cover URL, right? And here we go, look at that, this looks good. So that's something actually pretty simple and easy. Now, what about while it's loading? While it's loading, we are going to use some skeleton. So let's, instead of this, I'll add if is busy while it's still loading. Oops. So here we go. If it's not loading, then show this. But if it's loading, then make sure to show skeleton. Okay, animation equals animation dot, let's use wave, and skeleton type. So the skeleton will just like represent that gray space that actually waves to show you that there's going to be a content over here after we finish loading or working on this stuff. Skeleton tab is going to be rectangle actually, yeah. Things like this, and the other property that we need is the height. So for this one, you're going to use 40 pixel because this height is going to represent the image, and then we have two height that will represent the text. And what I'm going to do over here, okay. So the type is text, and we don't need this height actually. Okay, that's good. So this is to show the loading, and this is to show the details after the load is done. Now, let's override first on parameter set. Override on parameter set. So just here we check if plan ID equals null, and through new argument, null exception, and the name of that argument is plan ID. Here we go. So in that case, we make sure we always have to pad the ID. We don't forget about that. And now let's call this fetch plan async. We are going to use that in the onInitialized async, right? So let's make it async over here. And let's just call await fetch plan async. Here we go. So it's a very gentle component, as you can see. We will keep to work on this part later. And right now, let's call this dialog actually and show it from the plans card list. So I'll go to the plan cards list over here. Here we go. So we have on edit clicked, on delete clicked, and I think we also need on view clicked. So just to test that, let's go ahead to the plan card. And in the plan card over here, okay, so, okay. So on plans list. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Now here we go. Okay, that's good. So we have the plans list, right, which is the parent that contains the plans cards list or the plans table, and both of those components are actually their core functionalities are existing at the top. They are not existing in themselves. They are existing in the plans list. So here is the main function. If you check that get plans, it's existing here. Edit, delete, they are all existing over here. So again, let's add a new section. Let's call it origin view. And this view is going to be somehow just like, it will be just like delete, because why? Because simply it will open up a dialog and nothing else. So I will add things like private async task, view plan async, string plan ID, plan ID, or I think let's make it take a plan summary, because the button that we click in the card and in the table will take a plan summary, just like that. And then over here, let's copy the same code that actually open up a dialog, right? But here we are not waiting for any action. So dialog parameter, parameters.add. We don't have here a content text or things like this. All we have is a plan ID, and it will be plan.id. This is how we can pass parameters to the dialog. For parameters equals new dialog parameters, parameters.add the name of the parameter, plan, and then .id. Here you just add the value, and max width. Let's make it not extra small. Let's make it medium. And dialog service dot show dialog. It will call plan details dialog. Oh, why it's in a different component? Because I called it, oh, it's a planner app. Okay, here we go. Now we have access for it. And the title will show, let's call it details. Those are the parameters and those are the options. So basically this is it. Let's keep it void for now. I don't think there is any place that we need to make it awaitable. Okay, that's good. So let me have some tea over here. Okay, that's good. Now, we need, when you click on the card, you see we have on view clicked, and then this card is actually transferring this to the cards list, and then from this cards list, we subscribe for that on view clicked from the very parent, which is the plans list, and from the plans table, we just have the exact same thing. As you can see here, we have on view clicked, on delete, and on edited. Let me see on the plans table. So they are all being invoked. All what we have to do is just to subscribe for this event. But in the plans card list, we don't have on view clicked yet. I'm going to make a quick recap for this after a little bit. After we run the project, on view clicked, just like that. That's good. So in the plans card list, as you can see, this is the component that will show the list of cards, and we already subscribed to on edit and on delete. Now we'll separate on view equals on view clicked, invoke async, and we just pass the plan. So when we click in the card, it notifies the plans card list, and then in the plans card list, it will also over here call another event called on view clicked, because we have one on the plan card and we have one on the plans card list. So the parent plans list, where is that? Plans list, yeah, over here, it can subscribe also for that event. On view clicked equals view plan, right? Okay, look at that, that's pretty simple. Let's do the same over here. Oops, sorry. And here we go. So I think we are just ready to go, right? So let's click on run, and after that, we get it to work. The dialog is simple. The only thing that maybe that you are right now a little bit confused is that what is this on view clicked and things like that. So I'm going to explain that in a bit and make a very quick recap for that. But for now, let's make sure that the view is working and the dialog is showing successfully with the loading and all this stuff. We have an error that says, okay, oh yeah, because we have renamed this namespace over here, it's no longer because this one is different, so the files can barely read each other, right? So let's click run again. Now, after we move to .NET 6, we can take advantage of the hot reload stuff. We can take advantage of the high speed of the project, actually, from the performance-wise. So let's see. And for now, here we go. Our application is going right now. Ooh. Here we go. Okay, that's cool. So I'll make sure just to log out. And I will log in again. Test.123. Click on login. Wait a little bit, and here we have logged in. Click on plans, and here we go. We have access for plans. And now if I click on view, let's see, hopefully it's going to work. Oh, look at that. Actually, it just worked amazing, right? And it was loading. You can see, you see that there is this little loading over there that you have seen it. Well, that was pretty fast. You see. And we have here just exactly the same thing. Of this loading, they just need to be a little bit higher, and we have to add some margin over here, or maybe we can remove just the margin of the image, and we are good to go. And here we have the plans. I think we can remove the title from here and make it the one over here, and it will look much better. So let's go ahead and do that very quick. Okay, so I will go to the plan dialog, the tracer over here. So we will say if it's busy, you will say loading. Okay, because we are inside an if, we cannot just write directly, so we can use the text tag. This text tag makes you like write. The only way to detect that it's HTML is, for example, if I'm doing this. But what if I want to write something directly like welcome? So in that case, it will be considered as C#. And to translate that, you can just use text. So in that case, you can just start writing normally. And the things here will be translated into HTML only. So loading plan details else add text at plan dot title, just things like this. I think this is going to be much better. So let's remove this from over here, and let's try to remove the margin of this image because they don't look aligned very good. In addition for that, we need to have actually, I will add a style over here. I will make it min width is 250 pixel. Okay, that's good. And also for the items over here, I'm just going to do this the exact same thing. So we'll take it from over here. We don't need those, of course. Plan items go here. So we don't have this big rectangle, but we have these little small ones. I'm going to add many of them, because those will represent the items. Okay, I think we should be okay right now. Okay, so let's give it another try. Go to plans again. Okay, load them. That's cool. Let's click on this button. Oh, that's good. Yeah, this is a little bit better, right? But this one is still like not working. It just says loading plan details, and it didn't show the plan for us. So okay, but that looks good. That looks very good for us. And yeah, so this is a very good step actually in this project. But let's see before we end this session. It took a lot of time actually. We already passed the loading plan details if it's is busy, then, okay, that's interesting. What's the problem over here with this? Does it need, okay, let's make sure to call here state has changed. Maybe that part of the content is again. Let's go to plans. Let's view this plan over here. Okay, we still have this one as load plan details. It's not getting updated. Okay, that looks good. Wow, that's interesting. Why it is doing that actually? Maybe because we are within this mod text. So I will try to take that. Okay, and then let's make it like that, just as a final test. If it didn't work, we can figure out this in another session, just because this one went too long. So plan title, this one is loading plan details. Okay, let's try now to see. So the final test, hopefully it's going to work. I don't think what we have done is a good solution, but yeah, it's still not working. We have to figure out why. Maybe the title in this mod dialog is doing something. So, okay, anyway, that's until now it's very good. We are going to figure out this in a specific session to fix this bug. And yeah, until now, I hope you enjoyed this session. In the next one, we are going to focus into fixing this little bug and explaining a little bit of what we have done again over here. And then the last thing is, after that, we should move to migrating to .NET 6 before we start writing the items, which is the last part of this project. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.